Is this on?
You're live.
Okay.
Move the table out some. What do you think?
Yeah. Maybe like super far.
I'm gonna get my phone so I can see who's on. Hi, hey.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, so I feel like we're still just like super uneven, but we just gonna make it work. Today is Wednesday, so you know that it is everyone's favorite day of the week. What's up, P-Pod? It's your boy Sean P, the leader and general of the illest team known to man. And today is Wednesday, so you are now live with Sean.
And Key.
And we have some super important and special guests with us today. We have our good friends, actually Nakia's best friend from like childhood. We have Anea and her husband Nepo. And they are from North Carolina. Yeah, that's where they live. And they're just like really good friends of ours. And they're just here on the show today to discuss this awesome topic. How many kids are too many kids?
Hey, Jalisa. I hope I said that right. Jalisa.
We're going
And
to just give us a quick second to share, and then we'll dive into the discussion in just a second.
We know we are super late tonight, but we still wanted to come on. We still wanted to make sure we came on live tonight. We have how many kids between? 8 kids between all of us. So getting them fed and all that stuff was pretty crazy tonight, but we did it.
And we are alive
And we're
to testify about it. Let me just share really quick on Facebook, and then we will get started.
Yes, if you guys can share, that'll be great. Thank you. Almost done. You know, it always takes me forever to share. I usually take longer than him.
All right.
Okay.
So, how many kids are too many kids? So this is like obviously this is a question that's near and dear to our hearts because we are always, every time people ask, are you married? Do you have kids? I say yes, and then they ask, oh, how many kids do you have? And then when I say 5 kids, the response is usually one of like 3 things. They either say, oh my God, really? Or then they go something along the lines like, God bless you. Or it's like, oh, God bless you. Like,
you have your hands full.
Like that's something that only, like specialists can deal with. But, it's big families. We are a thing. It's not like super common this day and age, but it still is a thing. So just before we even dive into how many kids are too many kids, as you all know, we have 5 kids. And how many kids do you guys have, for those who don't know?
We have 3.
3 kids, and they have 2 boys and a girl, and they are all super yellow kids, very clear children.
Clear? Like transparent?
They are.
Prefer red.
Call them what?
We prefer red.
Red. Okay,
Red.
That's what you want to do. It. No, but they're awesome, beautiful, intelligent, talented children, each with their own like perspective. Just like their own attitude and just the way they are about themselves. But like how did like child planning go for you guys? Like what was that process like, getting into how many kids we gonna have? And
I'm gonna let you handle that one.
So, I mean, basically when we
when we first met, we wanted 5.
Mm.
But I already had one from a previous marriage. So I guess we would have had 4.
Yes.
But I mean, when we started with the second one, it was just okay. It's time. Let's go ahead and give our oldest a sibling to play with, and
You started practicing.
So the original plan was just to have 5, and then when baby number 2 came around, it's like, all right, maybe 5 is too much.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was done.
definitely.
What made the change?
I think the major change for us was when I went to the doctor's office and found out I was 10 weeks pregnant and I had an 8-month-old. So that was like, woo!
Having them
Too
so
much, too
close.
fast.
Yeah, having them so close together.
Yeah.
It was a handful.
Because in the end, the last 2 are 15 months apart. So that was like having twins, like just tag teaming on diaper changers and stuff. It's a lot. It was a lot. So then we were like, you know what? I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 3. We're good.
And what was our process like? Do you
Our
remember?
process. I know. I forget everything. Our process was more so okay. Well, we knew, right after we got married, we wanted to try to have a baby right away. I didn't want any more kids after 30. I already had 2. So so we tried right away, got pregnant right away with Ariana. Then what happened later on? I mean, we planned Braylon, but I don't remember the conversation, like what exactly the conversation was like. I remember the conversation with plan Sean Jr.
Yeah, well, that wasn't really a plan. That was kind of just like, so my initial thing, like growing up, I always wanted to have 4 kids. I wanted to like have 2 biological kids and then adopt 2 kids. That was just always like my dream because I grew up in a 2-kid household, and this guy from my church, he adopted 2 kids, and I just thought that was just like the coolest thing. So like I wanted to do that. Plus like my godfather was adopted, and so I was just like really like into that. My aunt, one of my closest cousins, Chris and Christine, they were adopted. So it was just like there's a lot of adoption going on in my family,
Right.
and I just always thought that was really cool. So like I wanted that, and I kind of like already had it, but I wanted a boy and a girl, and I wanted to adopt, 2 whatever, or 2 more kids. And then when we got together, we already had the 2 boys, so I was just like, I know for a fact that I'm gonna have a girl first, and then I'm gonna have a boy, because all the men in my family, that's kind of like how things went. Like with my dad, he had my sister Trisha first, and then he had me. My cousin Danny, it was the same thing. So I thought I was just gonna fall right in line with the Purefoy wave and have my girl first and then my boy. But as God would have it,
that is what happened.
you can't plan. So not only did we try to plan when Raylan was going to get here, so we wanted to have a baby around my birthday, because I was the only person with a birthday that didn't share a month. Because Jaden,
in our family.
Because Jaden and Key, they share a birthday month, and Ari and Xavier share a birthday month. So I'm just the only oddball out the family, and I was like, I needed somebody to share a birthday month with.
You had a whole birthday to yourself.
I did, and I still do, because we tried to plan, the practice, around, when tried to map it out, and it actually took us a little while to get pregnant with Raylan.
We just missed that first month, so like that, your cycle changes, and instead of being more fertile at such and such a date, I was more fertile in the beginning of the week instead of at the end of the week. So it just completely flipped. So we were trying in the beginning when we should have been, or vice versa. I don't remember at the time. But that's what happened. So that first month we missed. So there goes December out the window.
Just shooting all air balls, bro.
But once I figured it out and was able to switch it, that second month we did get pregnant, and that's when we were able to have her in January, but still that was in December. So.
Yep. And then I swore to God that it was going to be a boy.
Yes.
And we did this whole elaborate scheme to find out, the gender reveal. And we went live. Did we go live?
No. I went to Target, had Nanette do all that. Gave her a boy and a girl outfit. She picked out what it was, put it in the bag, so I didn't know. We went out to dinner, and boy, was his feelings hurt. Like,
oh, man.
I cried because he hurt my feelings so bad.
My feelings were hurt.
His feelings were hurt.
It's something you ever just.
But you're still supposed to be happy. You were still having a healthy baby.
I had to have my human moment at first, but I was a little let down because I was just like. Because what I thought, I was more so sad, like, I couldn't have boys. Because one of my stupid sisters said that maybe you can't have boys.
Oh.
One of my dumb, ignorant, stupid sisters said that.
Stop.
And I think she was just trying to be a dick about it. But,
I took it out. I'm going to show y'all what happened. I took the outfit out, and I was like, it's a girl. And I was kind of, like, low-key happy because I think everyone should have all girls should have a sister. Like, my sisters are really special to me. So, like, it's a girl. And he was like,
I was actually the one to open up the bag. So.
Oh, it was you?
Yes.
Well, I said it's a girl.
I opened it up, and the kid was filming me, and I was a little upset.
Yes.
For about, like, an hour, but then I was just like,
the whole dinner, y'all. The whole dinner.
But then so that was Raylan. Raylan came and she was awesome. And then we were going to see what we were going to do, if we were going to do another one, because we said we were only going to have 3 more. We said we were only going to have 2, just to have 4. I was like, I really want a boy, but then I was like, I don't know. And then one night when we was practicing, we'll just continue to call it practice, I was just like, bump it, just like.
That's okay. So first of all,
we were going to plan.
He doesn't remember this. This is the story that he neglects to remember. But when I was in the hospital after we had Raylan, we were all excited, of course. But then he asked me, like, would you want to try for another one? Would you want to try for a boy? And I was like, okay. Y'all, I'm still in the hospital. I just had a baby, y'all. You don't remember this. I remember this.
Remember it.
Okay.
I remember you telling me.
I told her right away, like, yo, this nigga just asked me.
I was like, don't do
I just pushed out a baby 10 hours ago. I'm bleeding everywhere. He asking me if I have another.
I was like, don't do it. Like, you guys got
That's not graphic at all. I'm bleeding everywhere. Yeah, let's share that for all of YouTube. Hey, YouTube, she's bleeding everywhere.
So anyway, TMI. But
right.
But yeah, so we did try to. We did try to plan him to be born. When did we want him to be born?
We were trying to do
December?
Yeah.
So we were trying to do that again, but like during practice, he was just like, whatever happens. But
I just shot.
Yeah, he just and then
shot. Kobe.
Switch.
Stop.
Kobe. Stay away, perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, we ended up right away.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you guys gonna have any more?
No.
Yeah.
No. No more kids.
No, Lord.
No.
No, Lord.
No. That is definitely a wrap for us now.
I don't know.
No, we know. You don't have to know.
I'm
It's
like,
okay.
you don't know for who? You don't know how
It's
you feel
okay.
about yourself?
You don't have to know.
No,
That's
I mean,
fine.
like, I feel like it's gonna be a slip up.
Nah.
Like, oh, wow.
And the thing is, like, we've never had a slip up. In my history of practicing, I've never had a slip up. So like, I've always been.
Sorry, this is adult talk, guys.
I've always been on point with the shot. You know, if we want to say that. So I've
Extra
never had
careful.
any slip ups. I've never had any baby mama drama was never my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I specifically waited to marriage to have kids because I saw that what my cousins went through, my sisters went through, and my aunts, all those things like that. So, I was always very careful when planting seeds. You know what I'm saying? So
Language.
it's just one of those things, which brings me to like my next point. What happened with the slip up? Like how does one slip up and have a child?
See what had happened.
What had happened
It was all her fault.
right.
That's what we're gonna go with. That's the
Testify on
story.
it.
Well, I mean, it was kind of my fault. Only because, I mean, I was obviously, like I said, I had an 8-month-old and I was still breastfeeding and everything. And so, they put you on a certain kind of birth control. But it was causing me to, have my period every 2 weeks. And so the doctor was like, that's not cool, go ahead, let's take you off. Never went back on. And,
Oops.
And one night practicing,
Oh.
I was like Michael Jordan. So yeah, fortunately, we have
That
a
is valid.
beautiful
Thank
daughter.
you, Lady Daydream.
Beautiful daughter.
Thank you.
And honestly, like you with the whole boy thing, that's how I was with the girl thing. Because first time I ever got pregnant, I wanted a girl. Okay, boom, it's a boy.
2 boys.
Okay, got pregnant again. Boom, it's a boy. So I told him it's a boy, and I was like, thanks a lot. Like, I just wanted a girl.
Yeah.
And when I finally had my girl, I literally did not believe it until she came out.
Wow.
And I was like,
I
oh,
remember
it is a girl. Like,
Yeah.
just
She's like, I
super
have to see.
excited.
I gotta wait till
Yeah,
she comes
and he knew both times like what the sex was, and was like, yeah, it's definitely a boy, it's definitely a girl, but
Yeah, the
I
first
just couldn't
during-
believe it.
during the first pregnancy, she wanted to kill me. She was like very angry with me.
Hormones.
And then the second one, I was good.
Nice.
He's
Good for you.
alive.
To tell the story.
And now
Dodge a few bullets.
he
but
made
I'm
it
there.
through hot trials. He made it.
These guys. But yeah, so I mean, I think that a lot of people don't put that. Let me not say a lot of people. I think that pregnancies should be planned in a sense of like we are financially ready. We have the time to do this. We both want to be in it, and I feel a lot of parents, especially like young parents, who lack the education or who lack just like the upbringing or that support system to really like show them the ropes. Where we go wrong is like people just be practicing, you know what I'm saying, without an end goal. You know what I'm saying, not knowing that this is a game for life.
Right.
And what are your guys' opinions on how you prepared to have a baby? And maybe you want to just like reflect on that too.
As teen moms or as married?
Or as well, I mean you're on both sides of that coin. So what was for you? What was the difference in what was the difference in planning for this child to arrive, both when you were 19 as opposed to when we were married?
Planning for the child to arrive, I don't think there was a big difference. I know like for me, like just me and my unborn child, me praying for my womb and praying for the baby and stuff like that, because I was brought up in church. That was something that I did with all across the board with all of the children, and I planned for, I didn't plan to have, those were unplanned pregnancy, well, the first one was definitely unplanned pregnancy, but once I found out I was pregnant, then my whole life changed, my whole world changed. So like you guys, how I told you guys how in another YouTube video where I've been through like hanging out on the streets and stuff like that. My whole life switched around because I didn't want my son in all of that. So I basically just planned the same with any of them.
But I mean, my question was more so just like, so Xavier's the first baby.
Mhm.
Were you and your partner at the time where you're like, yo, I want to have a baby?
No.
Okay. So that's really where I'm going. So it's like, that's where especially like in the Black community,
That's where you mess up.
that's one of our biggest problems.
Yeah.
It's like a
we
lot of
we practice without talking about it.
yeah.
Without weighing out the options.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or without being like fully aware of the consequences. I don't know, because
But you're
like
always fully aware with the consequences. Think about how much they drill it into your heads in elementary school, high school, middle school. I mean, you know if you play with fire, you're gonna get burnt. Like if you are having
No, we can say sex. If you're having sex, for all the kids who are watching, listen, if you have sex unprotected,
yes, you will
without a
get pregnant.
condom, you will have a baby. A baby will come.
Or you'll have a baby STD. Like what?
Right.
Yeah, like either one, you're gonna get something. How about that? But you know that's gonna happen. So I always hear like older people say, "Oh, young people, they think they're invincible and this, that, and the third." Like, I don't think I thought I was invincible. I just didn't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I
was like,
honestly,
whatever.
I didn't know any young one. I was the first one out of all of us to have a baby. So I didn't know anybody else that was like getting pregnant off of, so it's like, but you don't like until I see it. Until I do the act and I see a positive pregnancy test, I don't know that I can get pregnant. You see, like, I don't know it's that easy really. Because your parents drill into your head like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. But
or you've been playing with fire all this time.
Yeah, and I've been good. Yeah, exactly. So now you're like, oh snap! I can do it too. Like seriously though.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah. So what's that mindset like? As opposed to, when it's not planned, baby, I'm pregnant, and now what is the mindset? Like, I'm married, and pregnant. What's the difference between?
I want to say there's more of a sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, I always feel like my motto is like, you never know how a person's going to react in a situation until you get them into that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You always assume, oh, we're going to get pregnant because we're married. He's always going to be there. He's going to say, you just don't know. You just roll the dice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I did have that sense of security because I know my partner. Like, I am praying that he won't leave. He won't tell me, oh, you need to get an abortion or anything like that. Like, he's here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was my mindset.
No, definitely. Go ahead, Nico.
No, I was gonna say I can't speak for anyone else, but mine started with a good, strong Christian background.
Yeah.
Having my mother and father there,
Mm-hmm.
raising me right, and I knew that when I met my significant other, she was the one.
Yeah.
So I was ready.
Yeah, and I think that's such a big thing, like, that we need to like experience, and that's why we have this channel.
Yeah.
Because we want to show people, not that we do everything perfectly, but like I do believe that when you are Christ-centered, and when you have like those foundational components of your upbringing, like your wave is so different. You know what I'm saying? So like having kids is a conversation.
Yes.
As when you're teenagers, you're just having sex. Because it feels good, and you don't want to use a condom, whatever the case is. But I know that marrying Nakia and getting married, period. That was always my mindset. Like, whatever happens, you know, not only is it okay, but it's blessed by God.
Yeah.
You know, God loves marriage.
Mhm.
You know, and it's his perfect will for man and women. That's why he created us. That's why he created this institute of marriage. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. All right. So now, to kind of like bring this,
Can I finish real quick?
yeah.
So for me, it's more so, it's the same thing. Like now it's in a marriage, it's like, when you're planning, it's excitement. You know, it's not like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna pay for these babies?
Or even if you do have a slip up, it's okay.
Yeah, and if you do have, if there is a slip up, it's okay. And you know, you have the initial like, what is going on right now? You know, if it's not planned, but you're also like, you know, you find excitement in that afterwards, and then you're like, oh, now that we know and we've talked about it, like we have a baby coming, like, because they are blessings, you know, they are blessings from God. And there's so many people out here wanting to get pregnant.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
you finished?
Yes, I'm done.
Oh, so for those of you who are just coming in, who came in here late, this is Anea and Nepo, the Bonapartes. They are our awesome friends. They live in the dirty South down in North Carolina, and they're just we've been friends with them. Well, the kids been friends with Anea since
Forever. How old were we? 12?
Oh my gosh.
11?
11.
Yeah.
11 years old, and I
So
met.
it's like 10 years.
I'm like, do the
Times
math.
3.
We're not gonna say our age. You know, we're just gonna leave it there.
She's older
Yeah,
than me.
and Nepo and I, we became friends when we met.
Yeah.
And we just been, you know, covenant brothers, and we share with one another, and it's just, you know, one big family. But any advice to like single moms that we can offer, because that was brought up in the chat before.
Like
we
as far
just,
as what?
just like single moms who are going through it, because you know, even we're talking about just like, you know, being married and, you know, planning pregnancies and having kids and having security and those things like that. But you know, and I believe that's what God ordains. But there are also people who don't believe. There are also people who find themselves in a situation where they weren't thinking all the way through, and they find themselves pregnant. So like, what advice could you give to that mom that's out there who has a baby, who doesn't have that security, or what advice would you give them?
So I think even in a marriage, like, it's just a support system in general is something that is so huge. Like, our testimony a little bit is just that, like, during the recession, he was out of work. I was already on, you know, baby number 3. And so, you know, we were both out of work. And, you know, if it wasn't for God giving us the family that we have, we were, you know, I mean, unemployment was giving him $300 a week. And, you know, we have babies and an apartment. We're not living with parents or anything, but, you know, his family came by and bought us groceries and things of that nature. And, you know, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to get that assistance, that government assistance, if you need it. Like, you know, as soon as you don't need it, come off of it, because obviously there's people out there who definitely need it. But, you know, we needed it. And, you know, we took the assistance that we were able to, but that support system in general and you know, and our faith in God really got us through it. And I think that as a single mom, you just having this support system, it doesn't have to be family. It can be just friends, like, because some people don't have family, and I completely get that. But, you know, just to have friends around you who care, those are the ones who always pick you up when everything is just to the ground and the chips have all fallen.
Yes, and I'm going to tag team on the friend thing, because I've always had my family there. So my family is my huge support system, both my mom and my stepfather and my dad and my stepmother. when I was a single parent, and even now, but we're talking about being a single parent.
Right.
So like when I was a single parent, but I also had, you know, my friends that were around me. So like my friend Tasha, you know, when my parents weren't able, because you know you can't always rely on your parents, but when they weren't able, we had each other to bounce off of, to bounce ideas off of. How are we going to do this? Can you pick up my kids here?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll pick them up today. You going to cook them dinner? Sure, I'll cook them dinner tonight. You know, here, drop the kids off. You got to go to work at this time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, drop the kids off to me. I'm off right now. You know, like we really used each other like that. Because we loved each other, and because, you know, we loved each other's kids, but to also help each other. Like this single moms, you have to become a community.
Right.
You know, you have to help each other. You know, there were nights where we helped each other's kids with homework, like with everything, because you can't always be there when you're a single parent because you're working. Like that was our story. We were always working.
Yeah.
So,
and I was all the way in North Carolina, so I couldn't even.
Yeah, and she was far.
You.
So it's like, you know, but your parents, they're not always going to be able to be there. Or if they're not around, you know, there's so many single moms that are by themselves. So like I'm saying, you know, you have to have a community. You have to get to know people. And sometimes it's hard to trust people, but that's why I say you have to really get to know people.
And I feel like there's so much out there now as far as like access to social media as opposed to, you know, when we were single moms and stuff like that, because you know, you can just search, you know, single mom groups, you know, like Google search it or look on Facebook or Instagram, and like hashtag single mom. Like, you know, it's just so much easier than it was, you know, when that sounds old, like when we were single moms. But
You're old. What are you talking about?
You are old.
She's got me by like a couple
Shots
of months.
Fired. So, you know, basically what I'm hearing you guys say is like you gotta find that support system.
Right.
You know, whether it's through family, whether it's through, you know, your friends, or if you can find a support group. You know, single moms, you know, all power to y'all, and single dads too. You know, but it's important to find, you know, that support group. However you need to do it. You know, you need to get around some people who you can trust. Who can give you like sound guidance, because there's a lot of people that are going out and, you know, getting advice from their friends, and their friends are half crazy too.
Yes.
You
so
know,
that's the thing. You have to be really aware. You have to be really aware, especially when it comes to your children.
Yes.
And divorced moms dating again. Listen, I'm not sure specifically what the question is or what advice that you're looking for, but they're like we've always been preaching on this channel. God has created somebody for you, specifically for you, that is willing to take on all of your burdens, as willing to take on everything that comes along with you, because they love you.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't necessarily searching for a ready-made family, so to speak. I always thought that I was going to just start my family from scratch, but, you know, it was God's will that Nakia and I, you know, got together when we did get together, or got back together when we did get back together, because I had that opportunity to, you know, I had, you know, we dated a little bit in high school, so, you know, like, you know, and who knows, we probably would have grown to hate each other, so who knows, like, God's timing is always, you know, always perfect. You know, even though it might not seem like it for us, but, you know, just don't give up and do not like give into like rash decisions. A lot of times, you know, especially, you know, I'm not harping on the women, but a lot of women, you know, they have a false sense of security when they find a guy that can pay bills, but, you know, he go upside their head, or, you know, he cheats, or he does other stuff. You know, like that's not what love is. That's not what God's plan is for you. You know, God's plan is for you to prosper, for you to, you know, to what is forget the scripture. We were just listening today. And I gotta find it. But what is it? Prosper.
Sometimes I won't. while he's looking for the scripture, y'all. Come on, Millie, rock with me. I go down. No.
Are you swatting a fly?
Disrespectful.
Oh no. That is a valid question. Are you
What?
swatting a
I
fly?
know. He's looking for the scripture, y'all.
I'm trying to find the scripture.
How do you do it? Oh. There you go.
Oh my God. What is his name? I know.
He's still looking. The plans I have for you, say it for Lord. For I know, never stop the plans that I have for
Doing a
you.
whole bunch right now.
Say it, the Lord. Well, it's quiet. I was just trying to.
Oh, okay. It's Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. That's in the New Living Translation, but in the King James Version, I like it better. For I know the thoughts that I have, the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So, God's perfect plan for you is supposed to be one of peace and of goodness. So if someone is causing just hell in your life, someone is, causing you to lose sleep and, be all discombobulated or hurting you, then that's not the plan that God has for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the one, and that's
It
even though you might be paying bills, that's not the one.
That ain't it.
If that person isn't fulfilling you, either man or woman,
Mm-hmm.
if they're not fulfilling you and causing you to glow up and be a better version of yourself, then that's not the person
Yes.
for you. I'm not saying that we always need to look for the guy with the money or the woman with the money or the cars and things like that, because those things can soon perish.
Mm-hmm.
But God has a perfect will and design for your life, and all you have to do is just wait on Him,
Mm-hmm.
pray and wait on Him.
Yeah.
That's the
And-
problem. We don't want to wait.
And be what's up, CC? How you doing? Welcome. We have the Bonapartes here with us, Anea and Nepo,
That's what he just
and they're rocking with us today. We're talking about how many kids. So, how many kids is too many kids? How many kids is too many kids? What's your thoughts on it?
I really feel like that's what you can handle, like what you guys as a unit can handle. Because I mean, I feel like you're never mentally ready, financially, whatever. There's always something.
Yes.
Always comes up in life where you can plan everything down to the T, and stuff goes wrong.
Yeah.
Stuff hits the fan, things happen. But I just think it's like a thing of how much can you handle? I mean, I know people who can't handle 2 kids.
Yeah,
Like,
I know people who can't handle 1 kid.
Yeah.
like it's just.
They look
I
at us
mean, like
like-
our 3, like I kind of wish we had another one.
Puppy. Getting a puppy.
She wishes they had another one.
I don't know, and I also think it's just because, I do have younger friends. One of my girlfriends, hey Tia, she just had a baby. He's so precious, but it's like that. Like, oh, we could have been twinsies, like pregnant together, or all the other times because we said we were gonna have the same amount of kids, and you done jumped.
Well, you stopped. You
ahead of me.
Nobody told you to stop. I was like,
And
don't stop.
The Lord told me to stop.
Lord.
So when times that she was pregnant, it was like, oh. But I mean, I think 3 was just good. Like, especially the shock of the last 2 so close together.
I'm gonna touch on what my wife said. I feel like it's what you can handle. For me, 3 is good.
Yeah.
3 is that sweet number. 2 boys, 1 girl. The boys can protect her even though she's tough as nails.
Oh yes.
And a few years from now they'll be out of the house, so me and my wife can enjoy the world. Start traveling.
rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, having another one is just a complete reborn.
Puppy.
That's
You'd be
too
starting
much.
all the way over.
Yeah.
Yeah, puppy.
Because our youngest is 8,
Maybe a
and that's
fish.
a lot.
Maybe a turtle. Maybe.
Fish and the turtle. My thoughts have always been as much as you can afford.
True.
And I guess that the handling part comes into it too, because like you can have, I don't think anyone should go broke over trying to have kids.
Mhm.
You know,
You know, and I think that there should be, there should be a financial aspect that takes place in it. You know, like all the kids that we have, like our kids don't want for anything. You know, they eat.
We both like, Dad, they eat.
They
Lord,
eat.
they
That's
eat.
all they do is eat. They eat, and they sleep in everything, and they're just the kids are well fed and things like that, and we're blessed and fortunate to have the life that we have. However, I see families who have the same amount of kids as us, but don't make nearly as much money as we make.
yeah.
And my question is, I mean, obviously it's God working on their behalf, but like, how do you do that? How do you do that? You know, like, you know, it's not even like all the kids are they're wearing bummy clothes or anything like that. But I'm talking about like poverty stricken,
Yeah.
like drug addiction, you know, unemployment, not even unemployment, but like welfare, and you still having kids.
Because, well, could be, you know, if they're on drugs, you know, like
They just
you
don't
just
whatever.
do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, so.
And everybody's situation is so different. Like, it's so hard to just give a general statement.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I mean, it's just like I don't personally know anyone. Do you know anybody who has a whole bunch of kids and
Who are
where it's
who are
just
not
like a
able
struggle?
to take care of
Yeah.
them? No, I don't.
I mean, we have relatives that have a lot of kids, but I mean, they've always just made it work and just figured it out and
And
you
a
know,
lot
work
of times
together.
you can make it work.
You
I mean,
can.
you know, like you take cuts other
Yep.
places so that your kids can have. So it's not that,
One
you
work
know,
nice, one work, you
yeah. So there are some financial, you know, things that you can work out in order to have big families. But sometimes I think you mean like people who don't do that.
Yeah.
They don't
I
work
mean,
those things out.
I mean,
Yeah.
money is not everything.
Yes.
You know, because you know we didn't have a lot of money growing up. You know, I have family members who didn't have a lot of. My parents didn't have a lot growing up, but like you know, my mom did pretty well for herself. You know, I have family members that do pretty well for themselves. And we always hear of the people that started from the bottom, people that come from those backgrounds. But my thing is, like, I as a black man, as a black father, I could not ever bring a child. Me personally, I could not bring a child in this world knowing that I don't know where my next meal is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, not everybody thinks like that.
Yeah.
That goes
You know what I'm
back to
saying?
that upbringing.
Yeah, just
Um,
like, yeah, go ahead, babe. You wanna say-
No, you and I are very similar. Through the conversations we have, I gather that.
Of course.
Even if you had another child, I feel like you do the same thing I do. I would make ends meet. I would get 3 jobs.
Yeah.
You know, especially knowing that I have a backbone at home who can hold down the house. If I have to, I'll work from sun up to sundown. I've done it before.
Right.
I've worked 4 jobs and went to school, just so my kids can have a better life.
Right.
Are you willing to make that sacrifice?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going. You know, a lot of people they look at it from that aspect. Oh, I'm just and kids are God's gift. And, you know, because not everybody, even the richest of the rich, there are some families, some people who just can't have kids. So anytime a child is brought into this world, it's for a reason, and they are a blessing. However, we are human, and I'm just like a realist at sometimes. When I just feel like there should be a little bit more of a thought process, being able to provide for your family, and and I can only speak from my experience and what I see on a day-to-day basis. Working in, urban communities, we see a lot of just sperm donors.
Yeah.
You know, dudes that, and women that allow it to happen too, that just, bring children into this world and that's it. And I just really have a big issue with that because, naturally, we're providers because our dads were providers. But what happens to the boy who grows up in the inner city that grows up with just a single mom?
Yeah.
How does he grow up knowing how to be a provider?
Just some people are just so broken that they don't know how to break cycles, like just patterns in their family where, they can't be like, you know what, I need to do better.
Yeah.
Whereas some people, like, I know I can speak for, myself, where I say, like, we've broken cycles and, just with our little family.
Yeah.
And everything like that. So, you just, if you don't have, going back to the support system, to help you, to pick you up when you're down, to show you, listen, you're broken. You need help. If you don't have somebody to do that, then you're just going to continue to do the same thing your dad did, the same thing your mother did. You're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens a lot of times, just the brokenness. They keep passing on that brokenness.
Yeah. So, it's a great conversation.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you all. So, what we're going to do now, we're kind of like past our time. We're going to open, well, not really. This is our channel. We do what we want on our channel.
I was going to say, we had such a good topic, I didn't even notice.
Listen, we do what we want on our channel. But if there are, whoever's still in the chat, if you have any questions for us or for the Bonapartes, you can definitely do that. But if not, then we're going to wrap it up and wrap it up. That's funny, right? We're gonna wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
And then, yeah. So let's end on a good note.
Wrap it up.
Listen. Take some time to plan for your kids, and if you do happen to, make a mistake or slip up during your practice sessions, and by practice we mean having sex, just know that you need to find someone that's going to be there to support you. Find that as quickly as possible, because no child, no parent should have to go through parenting alone. Yes. Find people who are going to give you sound advice, that are going to help you, who are going to help push you to be the best mom or dad that you can be. Definitely try to keep God in the midst of everything that you do. Because even when family fails, even when friends fail, even when those support groups fail,
or when you're broken,
God is always going to be there to pick you up and give you sound advice. The Bible is definitely full of awesome advice for parents, and we'll be doing some more parent talks and things like that. Definitely. Thank you. Church, community, co-workers, therapists, all those are great resources to lean on. Don't be too proud. Don't be too proud to accept assistance.
I've done.
Listen. Child support, ladies, don't be no fool. Don't be no fool.
Real quick, Sean, touching on the God thing, give him time to work. The one thing that was really hard for me is I wanted it instantly. And during those trial times of me being laid off, I had to learn to rely on him, where I got money in the mail, didn't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
So give him time to work. Give it up to him, and then give him time to work. He's always that late in the midnight hour.
Definitely.
So you know exactly where it came from.
Baby,
preaching over here.
All right. Now this is where the conversation goes totally left. And never mind. But yeah, wait on God. Find that support system, and be strategic about the sex that you're having, people.
Yes.
All right. Don't just be going all willy nilly. Just practicing, and just to be practicing. Just
want one of those. Like, I'm good. I mean, obviously I won't, right? Yeah.
Obviously. I would hope so.
Listen.
But
there's something you're not telling.
Nobody wants one of those.
Nah.
Like I said, you're gonna get something. You're either gonna get a STD or you get a baby. Like, you just don't want that. Like, and if you were doing it,
Hopefully you didn't hear it here first, but stop having unprotected sex, man, because kids are expensive and they stink. All right,
what?
All the time.
Kids stink.
Y'all stink too, but we keep y'all.
See,
You know what though?
and this is why I'm glad she's in North Carolina.
Wives are more expensive.
Wives are definitely expensive.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
gosh. So
Oh,
you're
well,
either gonna
you're
have a
stuck.
wife or you're gonna have kids. You choose.
You're stuck.
He said you choose.
Forever.
But we don't have any questions. We want to thank our guests for coming and rocking with us
thank you,
today.
guys.
It's totally last minute, but they, as you can see, they were good sports about it.
Yeah.
And they don't have a YouTube channel, so you can't like check them out. But y'all can check us out. Y'all keep on checking us out. We'll and yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
So I'm Sean,
I'm Key.
I'm Anaya.
Napoleon.
and this is Live with Sean and Key. Parent Talk. We out, y'all guys. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week.
And remember to
No.
Live, let love.
peace.
Peace.
Fun. It is literally fun.
Your bun every 5 seconds. My bun. Oh my god.